What's going on, everyone? Today we have the 2020 Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport. Now there's changes to all the different trim levels of the Tacoma, including the outside, the inside, and even tweaks to the powertrain. Now we're gonna do a full review and test drive coming right up. Wait, before you leave, this does not have the updated headlights. I was gonna get one that did, but it's sold, but don't worry, I'll show them to you. So let's get started. Now right off the bat, I want to thank you for watching and give a big thanks to Sport City Toyota for providing this 2020 Tacoma to show you guys. If you're in the DFW area, please be sure to check them out or check them out online. I'll put their information in the description below. All right, thank you everyone so much for tuning in for this 2020 Tacoma review. Now this is the TRD Sport. I showed you the TRD Off-Road and the TRD Pro with Forest Auto Reviews last year. Be sure to check those out if you want to see those. Now, I do apologize, this does not have the LED headlights, but I will show you those in a second. So this is the older style. This is actually what are standard unless you opt for the LEDs. We have the LED daytime running light, then the halogen bulb right inside that projector housing, and the halogen fog lights. And these do an okay job anyways. You can easily swap in some LEDs into the projector housing and still have a nice cutoff line. But new this year, you can get LED daytime running lights, LED headlights with black bezel LED fog lights, and even the TRD Pro gets sequential turn signals. And I really like the style of the new LED headlights. I think they look great. Can't wait to try them out and see how they actually work at night. So another thing that's new with these Tacomas is they're all gonna get, or most are gonna get, a slightly different grille. And you can see our TRD Sport has this large gray grille. I think it looks nice. It's got a smoked finish as well. We still get the hood scoop right up above. Kind of gives you a little bit of a sporty flair as well. Got some lines on the hood. Somewhat of a muscular hood, kind of a pronounced front end here. You still have body colored bumpers, the little air dam down there, but you do get a skid plate for the engine and the front suspension standard. Now personally, I probably wouldn't go for a white Tacoma, but ours has this blackout package. So you see Tacoma on the side there is blacked out. We still get those black steps below, which are optional, and then some more black badging on the side, which I'll show you. Now another thing that's new is the design of these wheels. So we have a new design for these 17-inch wheels, and I'm really glad they didn't put bigger wheels on here, so you actually have more rubber, more tires. I think those wheels look pretty nice, especially with the blackout package on here. And those are going to give you 265 series tires. And then on this side profile, you can see you've got color fenders over those wheels, you've got color mirrors, you've got color door handles. And those mirrors do have the turn signal in them, and they are also heated, which is fantastic for those of you driving around in colder climates. Blind spot indicator is also built into those mirrors. Now the Tacoma is going to give you 9.4 inches of ground clearance, which is really good. That's for two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. You're still going to get drum brakes in the back, and the two-wheel drive and the four-wheel drive models all get an automatic limited slip differential in the back no matter what. Otherwise, you can get a locker on the TRD Off-Road or TRD Pro. And then you can see the TRD Sport badging right there. There is something different with the taillights. They have that little chrome detail built into those now. So a little bit of revision on those taillights. You still have Tacoma embossed in the back, but now on our blackout package, it's black. You have a locking tailgate, which I'll show you, the V6 tow package as well. There's even parking sensors back here built into the bumper. Those are blacked out as well. So that's kind of cool. Even a blacked out exhaust tip with our blackout package. Now, as we take a look at the bed, as you see it here, we have the 5-foot box, but I showed you the 6-foot box last year, and it's nice that you can still get that if you want to see it. It does make the truck about 13 inches longer or so, but it's worth it for the cargo volume. Now right back here, you can see we have the backup camera. We have a keyhole to lock it, but we also have the option for power locking it as well. And you've got the soft opening, so your tailgate will not slam. And as you can see back here, we've got the composite bed. It has steel outer panels, but this composite inner lining here. So you've got 4 fixed tie downs. You've got this one and that one, and then you've got one in each corner up there. Plus, as you can see, we don't have them hooked up right now, but we've got the rail system where you can have 4 more movable tie downs, which are really handy. And then you've got LED lights on each side of the box, which are optional. Those are not standard, but they are optional. You can see that. And then you see the little indent right there and the indent up there. On each side, you can put shelves there so you can have space or room to actually fit 4-foot wide 4x8 sheets back here. And then another nice thing is we have this 120 volt power outlet working outside, and then this little storage bin right there, which is nice. So a usable cargo area. Nice to have the tie downs, the plug-in, the storage, and underneath we even have a full-size spare tire. Now right here is where one of the biggest, most notable changes is for this 2020 Tacoma that a lot of people had complained about. Now previously the Tacoma seats were all manual. You still had lumbar support with a dial and you could still move the seat manually, but you didn't have any power options at all. Well, now you get power. You get 10-way power adjustable seats where you can actually change the tilt of the seat cushion and move the seat up and down, and you still have 2-way lumbar support. That's on the SR5 and up, and the one thing that didn't change though is the actual seating position. So if you didn't really need to move your seat that much, it's not really going to feel that much different for you. But now the Tacoma is going to accommodate for more people. So I like to sit with my seat fairly low, and when I do that, you do feel, if you've ever driven a Tacoma, you feel like you're sitting kind of low in the cab, even though this is a fairly high riding truck. And with the seat all the way down, I'm 5'9", you can see how much headroom I have, so you definitely would want to check that out yourself if you are a taller individual. But now if you're shorter, you can raise the seat up a pretty good amount to get some good visibility. We have the optional premium package, so these seats are leather and they're heated. They don't really have a lot of bolstering. There's a little bit on the sides, a little bit on the seats. The seat cushion itself is pretty comfortable. I don't have any complaints at all with the comfort of the seats or the headrest being annoying. So these seats are good in my book. We have a leather steering wheel as well, which I'll show you in a second. And it is tilt and telescoping, but it does have a short range of motion coming out. I'd like to see that a little bit more. So our Tacoma, the TRD models in the Limited, get this smart key. It is the same kind of, small key fob, but if you push and hold the lock button 3 times on here, you get remote start, which is nice. Now taking a look at the interior, so the materials on the door are the same as the 2019 models. You have this rubber material right here. Not really much padding, but it is a kind of a durable rubbery material. You've got automatic up-down front windows, and then right down below you've got a couple small bottle holders and even your JBL badge. Over here we've got traction control. You can turn your cargo light on or off, your automatic high beams on or off, and then the 120 volt power outlet in the back as well. And then our steering wheel is the same. We've got the bulky grips on here, kind of a little perforated design on the edges. Still a 4-spoke design, so you can put your hand in the middle if you want. You've got your cruise control stock over there, and you can still control your distance with your cruise control, your adaptive cruise control, and your lane keeping system right here. Otherwise, you've got controls for your radio and controls for your information display on the steering wheel. This display gives you pretty much all the information you need. You've got a trip computer. It even tell you if it thinks you need a rest, if you're swaying or anything like that. You've got your compass, which is nice. You can see your audio, your tire pressure, and any warning messages or maintenance messages. So it shows you pretty much all you need, and then you can even customize some of the settings on here of what you see, your pre-collision system, your lane departure system, so your safety settings adjustment on here as well. Now the biggest change is going to be right here on the interior. So first of all, we have a bigger screen, and I had complained about the buttons on the side of the last model being just touchscreen. Now they actually have physical buttons, which is nice, and I think in a truck you should have physical buttons. So all of these buttons on the sides are physical, so you don't have to rely on touching the screen for everything. You still have a physical volume and physical tuning knob, which is also great. As you can see, we have Apple CarPlay, you have Amazon Alexa, and Android Auto as well. So the screens are going to be 7-inch on the base and then 8-inch on the rest, instead of a 7-inch being the largest screen you could get. So this Tacoma would normally come with just a normal 6-speaker system, but we have a 6-speaker JBL system, which is part of a package. It comes with the subwoofer as well, and in a small cab like this, it really booms. Otherwise, the Entune system here is still pretty similar. You've got quick menus. You can customize some different vehicle settings in here. It's kind of a, once you get used to it, you figure it out. We also have navigation with our package, so there's still a lot that you can do on here. You can customize the theme, the layout on here, the colors on here as well, so it's still easy to live with. Now another big change is a panoramic view monitor and a multi-terrain monitor. Now ours does not have the panoramic view monitor or the multi-terrain monitor. The multi-terrain will be on the TRD Off-Road and TRD Pro. You just get a basic backup camera. There's no dynamic guidance lines, but you'd still get the actual distance markers. But with the panoramic view monitor, you can see around the vehicle, and it's like a top-down view. It's a 360 camera. It's pretty sweet. And then the multi-terrain monitor, you can even have a 5-second front undercarriage projected path that shows in front of the vehicle, which could be really helpful off-roading. And as we go right below that, we've got our 3-tier heated seat buttons. Those are with our premium package with the leather. You've got dual zone climate control, which is also optional. Otherwise, you'd have regular climate control. Then we have blind spot monitoring button right there. You can increase your power with the electronically controlled transmission. We have parking sonar as part of a package as well. Our rear window, we can open up with that power sliding window. Your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto plug, and then wireless charging you can turn off or on, plus a 12-volt power outlet. And then right below that is the wireless charging pad, and if you don't have that, you can just use it as a storage bin. You can still use it as a storage bin even if your phone doesn't wirelessly charge. So one thing I really like are these cup holders from the Tacoma. My large bottle fits in there. I forgot to bring it today though. So you have those, plus you have a little knick-knack storage area right here. I can fit a big phone in there sideways if you want to, or whatever, keys, and then a smaller cup holder right here, maybe for coffee mugs or something like that. And the Tacoma is still sporting an actual handbrake, so that's pretty cool. You don't really see that anymore in hardly any vehicles at all. And then we have a leather wrapped shifter as well with the gated pattern, and you can put it in S mode and actually manual shift as well. Now in here, this has a little bit of padding to it. It's kind of a rubbery material, probably a pretty durable material. One thing I wish is that it would slide forward. It doesn't, but you can lift it up. You've got a little bit of storage in there, and then you've got 2 fast charging USB ports. So that's good to see that they're fast charging. The Tacoma offers a locking glove box, and then we have an automatic dimming rearview mirror, and we even have garage controls on there as well. Right up above, it gives us a sunglass holder. We have our SOS emergency button. We have a moonroof in here, and then just your regular incandescent bulbs. Regular size moonroof right there. And that moonroof is optional. Now, if we go ahead and look, we have a grab handle over there on the passenger side, so it makes it easier for your passengers. Visibility in this truck, really not too bad. You have a small cab, that window's not too bad. You can fold those headrests out of the way as well. One thing that I like, it's kind of hard to tell in the video, is that you actually have a dark headliner in here, so I personally like that. Now the backseat of the Tacoma, when you look at mid-sized trucks, you know, they're not quite as long, the cabs aren't quite as big, and you probably aren't going to be carrying adults in the back seat. And you're going to be okay, even if you have to carry adults sometimes back here. I'm 5'9", like I said, sitting behind where I would sit. I've got just a little bit of space for my knees. They're pretty much right at the back of the seat, but I'm not pushing into the seat. A little bit of space for my feet as well. Now, of course, it would be nice to see a little stretch, a little more room in here compared to some of the competitors, but then again, if you're really going to put adults back here, you'll probably go for a full size, and kids should be just fine. I can sit here without my head touching, I can feel my hair touching, but overall, I'm still fairly comfortable back here. My only complaint though is that there's no armrest right here. So most time you have cup holders in the armrest. The cup holders are actually right in front of us, which those are actually pretty good sized cup holders as well. There's no charging ports back here either. You could use the charging ports inside of the center console. And with Toyota's air conditioning system, I've never ever had a problem with their air conditioning, and you've got 2 center vents in the front that should have pretty good flow to the back seat. Now, a lot of you will probably actually use the back seat for storage, and the Tacoma does a nice job of that. Now you can fold this back part down. It's got a 60-40 split. It's got a little strap. You can remove these headrests or just fold them out of the way, and you've got a hard backing on here if you want to shove stuff here. There's a little storage compartment behind the seats as well, which is nice. And then, instead of the whole seat bottom folding up, it actually folds forward, which unveils a little bit of a flat area and even a little cargo area, a little storage bin on each side as well. And the best part is, the thing that I complained about the Ranger is that the entire seat folds, the entire seat back, and you have to reach across in order to do it. And it's nice to have a 60-40 split in the Tacoma. Now the powertrain is probably an area where a lot of you are wondering what Toyota changed. What were they going to do for this refreshed 2020 model? Well, they still have their 3.5 liter V6, which has the D4S technology, which means it's direct and port injected with the self-cleaning function. So that is fantastic. It still has the same power and torque numbers though, at 278 horsepower and 265 pound-feet of torque. And we'll go for a test drive in a little bit. And it's still paired with a 6-speed transmission, but you can even get a 6-speed manual. Now the change here is that Toyota actually recalibrated the 6-speed automatic transmission. It's supposed to have less gear hunting, especially at higher highway speed. And I think that is probably what a lot of you are looking for in this 2020 Tacoma. Now we're not going to be able to test drive this for a long time, but we will go for a test drive and talk about it. Miles per gallon on a 2-wheel drive is going to be 19 city, 24 highway, and with this TRD Sport on a 4-wheel drive model, it's going to be 18 and 23. And then towing for the Tacoma, a 4-wheel drive is going to be 6,400 pounds, and a 2-wheel drive is going to be 6,700 pounds. All right, let's go ahead and get on a test drive in this 2020 Tacoma. So since we don't have the panoramic view camera, we still get the basic backup camera with no dynamic lines, but you get your backup lines. And we'll see how this truck feels, if it feels any different. We just have a short distance we can drive, but hopefully I can get one for a longer test and really see what kind of difference they made with the transmission, especially at highway speeds, is the way that it sounds, that it's the most improved. Now, I've never driven the TRD Sport with the Sport Tune suspension. I've driven the TRD off-road. So we'll see how this Sport suspension compares to that. And it's been probably over a year since I drove that, but just nice smooth acceleration there. You don't have a bump in power or torque compared to last year, but hopefully with the transmission recalibration, that makes all the difference. So with the Tacoma, it's got an easy steering feel. It's relatively lightweight. It's pretty easy to toss this truck around. It's not laborious. It's a pretty maneuverable truck, especially if you're driving in the city or going off-road for sure. And if you want to see off-road, I got to go off-road with Forrest from Forrest Auto Reviews last year with the TRD Pro, so be sure to check that out if you really want to see some off-road. And so far, just in my short acceleration distance there, and there's our lane system, and speaking of the lane system, the lane keeping system, that is standard on every Tacoma. You get Toyota Safety Sense standard, which is pretty awesome. But just in that short acceleration there, everything was smooth. There was no hunting necessarily. I'm not going to be able to get to highway speeds to let you know. Now, one thing that I have noticed right off the bat is that with the Sport Tune suspension, it does feel a little stiffer on some of the bumps, but there's not quite as much bounce, I guess you could say. So it still soaks them up really well. There's nothing harsh, and that's the thing that you kind of want to look for with a Sport Tune suspension. In some vehicles it can be kind of harsh, but it's definitely not harsh here. And of course they didn't make this a racing truck by any means. You just get a little bit of a more taut suspension, and in daily driving, I think I actually, in a short period of time, I think I like this over the off-road suspension, but it's hard to say in a short period of time. All right, now acceleration here. It kicked down really quick. There was no issue with that. The brakes. So I had complained about the brakes a little bit before in my week-long review with it, but really there's nothing wrong with them. The pedal feels a little bit different than some other vehicles I've been in, and it's no problems getting stopped. Now, one big difference, one thing that Toyota said that they changed is quieting down this cabin. The NVH should be improved. I believe that there's thicker side glass. We still don't have the laminated glass here, but you've got a better headliner for more sound absorption, and a floor liner as well. So if noise is something important to you, you would want to get into this 2020 and see if it's quiet enough for you. And hopefully, like I said, I can get a longer review here and do my decibel ratings. But now, daily driving the Sport Tune suspension I think would be nice, because you got a little bit stiffer but still comfortable. And getting up to speed there, the truck doesn't have as much power as some people would want, but in most situations it's got plenty, and that transmission had no trouble kicking down there. A little bit of throttle here. Once it kicks down, you're good to go. So you definitely would want to come out and test this yourself, and like I said, hopefully I can get this for a longer period of time and really get some highway driving to see what kind of differences we've got. Now, with that Sport Tune suspension, I was kind of curious about body roll, body lean. There's still a little bit, and you've got to expect that in a truck. So this isn't too stiff. I really like the suspension. I think it's about right. Just comparing it to the TRD off-road suspension, I can't compare it to like the Limited or the SR5, where you kind of just have a neutral suspension though. All right, so after you've seen what has changed on the 2020 Toyota Tacoma, do you like it or not? I really like what they did. I think that they did just enough. You know, there were a lot of people complaining about a few different things like the power seats, maybe no Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, LED headlights, etc. And they answered those complaints. Now, those of you that are Toyota loyalists, what do you think? And those of you that have shopped other brands, would you shop the Tacoma now? Leave your comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for weekly videos and watch some of these other videos. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.